If Tory Lanez had read Stop Simpin' in the workplace, he wouldn't have been in the back seat with a savage.
Now available in paperback and e-readers. E-Steam Horror of the Hyena Woman. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a wicked werewolf in this action-packed all-new E-Steam series adventure. Get E-Steam Horror of the Hyena Woman in paperback and e-readers today.
Canadian rapper Tory Lanez was convicted on all charges in relation to the shooting of Megan Thee Stallion. Now, back in July of 2020, your Tory Lanez decided to get in the back seat of a Cadillac Escalade with rapper Megan Thee Stallion and her assistant Kelsey Harris. And as he was driving in this vehicle with Kelsey Harris, Megan Thee Stallion, his bodyguard, and a driver, they got into a heated argument on the way to a location. Now, it is alleged that your Tory Lanez was getting into an argument regarding your Megan Thee Stallion's sexual promiscuity, and as things were going on, your Megan Thee Stallion then made attacks on your Tory Lanez as related to his music. And as this argument went on, your Megan Thee Stallion, who was wearing only a thong bikini, stepped out of the vehicle and wanted to go her own way, but then was persuaded to return to the vehicle where it continued to ride further down the road. And as it rode further down the road, the argument got even more heated, and your Megan Thee Stallion and your Tory Lanez and your her assistant Kelsey Harris stepped out of the vehicle, and it is alleged at this point your Tory Lanez allegedly wound up shooting at the ground, saying "Dance B," and your Megan Thee Stallion got shot in the foot as he was shooting at the ground. Now, this whole incident really shows to me that your Tory Lanez is one of these beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis, and sadly, this Pookie really was not doing much critical thinking as related to his intangibles of manhood, especially the intangible of his freedom. Now, where I see where your Tory Lanez made the big mistake was getting inside a vehicle with your Megan Thee Stallion and her assistant Kelsey Harris. Because, like I talk about in my book, Stop Simpin' in the Workplace, you never want to be alone with a woman inside of a vehicle or any area, because what happens is it becomes a case of your word against hers. And in our gynocentric criminal justice system, what will happen is that the courts are going to take her word over yours. And that's sadly what happened here with your Tory Lanez, because he was so caught up in being in the vehicle with Megan Thee Stallion, he wasn't thinking critically about his most important intangible, which is his freedom. Now, your Tory Lanez was already on probation as related to a previous arrest, and you would think he would be a lot more careful about how he was traveling out here, because with a previous arrest or conviction or probation that he's on, you wouldn't want to do anything to go out here and jeopardize his freedom. Unfortunately, your Tory Lanez isn't that much of a critical thinker, and he winds up walking himself into a situation with a Megan Thee Stallion who is already a predatory female and her friend, and by putting himself in that situation, he basically led to himself jamming himself up. And again, not looking out for his most important intangible, which is his freedom. He's just out here thinking, oh, I can go out here and travel like nothing, not understanding that you have to watch your back when you're out here and you've got yourself on probation or some sort of parole. And again, he also had a child that he needed to look out for. And because your Tory Lanez wasn't looking out for the big picture, he basically walked into a bad situation, which got worse once he started getting into an argument with your Megan Thee Stallion, who is basically a hood rat looking for trouble. And when he got into this argument and it started getting personal, that's when he things started to heat up and escalate. But sadly, because your Tory Lanez has no sort of, again, ability to use logic and reason or critical thinking, he further lets his emotions get the better of him. And as he lets his emotions get the better of him, what he does is go out here allegedly and pull out this firearm and allegedly winding up shooting at the ground at Megan Thee Stallion's feet, causing these alleged injuries. And again, putting himself in a bad situation, which is only going to get worse for him because he's out here with your Megan Thee Stallion, her assistant Kelsey Harris, or former best friend, and it's a case of his word against hers, and you've got two women, and who are they going to believe in the gynocentric criminal justice system? They're going to believe the two women witnesses over a heterosexual black man. So your Tory Lanez basically put himself in a situation where he was going to be set up to get locked up because he was just caught up in, oh, I'm with some hot chicks in some sexy bikinis, and not thinking about how those women could possibly set him up on a road to be going to the penitentiary where he will now be dealing with Bubba and Tiny. And that's what your Tory Lanez really wasn't thinking about. And he wasn't thinking about, again, the most important thing of all as related to his life situation, which is his freedom. Because now with this conviction for for these 5 counts as related to illegally possessing a firearm, discharging a firearm, and carrying a loaded unregistered firearm, assault with that weapon, he is now looking at facing to 22 years in prison in California, and then the possibility of being deported back to Canada. So basically, his career is all but over. Even if he gets an appeal, his life is just completely destroyed, and it's all because he didn't get the male life skills and male survival skills to understand how to navigate a situation as related to women in the workplace. Now, some people will wonder, why am I saying that he doesn't know how to navigate things as related to the workplace? And the reason why he doesn't know how to navigate things as related to the workplace, because when you're an entertainer, you are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you have to understand going to these parties is work. And when you are working at a party, you are networking with different professionals, and you need to go out here and set professional boundaries for yourself. And that was the mistake that your Tory Lanez wound up making with Megan Thee Stallion. While he was trying to call himself being a nice guy and allowing her to ride in his Escalade with his people, he didn't understand that this woman was also looking to work an angle to jack him up. And that's why you go out here, you don't ride with women in your car. No, you let her go get herself an Uber, and she can go out here and put that skid mark thong in the back seat of that Uber and let them drive her wherever she needs to go, and you go on your way in your Escalade. In that case, your Tory Lanez would have been able to protect his professional reputation, he would have been able to protect his professional image, and he would have been able to protect his freedom. And those things were more important than going out here and getting into it with a raggedy female like a Megan Thee Stallion, because a Megan Thee Stallion, again, this woman is always looking for drama, always looking for trouble, and she's gonna jam you up whether that or not you don't even want it. And again, and when he put himself in that place, he put himself in a place where, and when they went to court, it didn't matter what he said. It was two women going out here and saying that this event happened and the courts are going to go along with the woman and not the man. Now, there were discrepancies with your Megan Thee Stallion story. However, those discrepancies were not going to be regarded by the jury because the jury in our gynocentric court system, they're going to take the word of a woman like a Megan Thee Stallion because she's going to go out here and play the victim and push the narrative as related to domestic violence because that's what people want to hear about heterosexual black men. They want to hear that a heterosexual black man is a big black brute, and how they go about dealing with big black brutes is they go out here and punish the black brute by going out here and convicting him of that crime. And sadly, your Tory Lanez, being a Canadian black man, didn't get the memo as related to the American white supremacist court system. And because he didn't get the memo as related to the white supremacist court system, this is why your Tory Lanez sadly wound up spending Christmas in prison instead of spending Christmas with his family. Because he didn't understand how women like a Megan Thee Stallion go out here and can instigate some violence, and then when the beta male goes out here and reacts to the statements that she's making, what he will do is go out here and react impulsively, not understanding that the consequences are detrimental to him. Now, as I see it, once your Megan Thee Stallion started running her mouth, he should have just let her go on her way with her jumbo thong bikini and let her go walk wherever she's gonna go, because at that point she's no longer anybody who I need to concern myself with. Because if she decides to leave, you let her leave, and whatever happens to that woman happens to her because she's not your issue at that point. Again, he was trying to talk her back into his vehicle, and that's what led to the further escalation of the argument. And again, beta males, they do not know how to, navigate through their emotions, and just while they feel and you don't act on it, what happens is that they continue trying to argue with the female. And as they go out here looking to continue arguing with the female, what it does is it further escalates things to the point where it becomes so heated that when these guys explode in rage, they wind up participating in some sort of violence that winds up with them being taken away by law enforcement. And sadly, that's what happened here to your Tory Lanez. He wound up getting arrested as related to this alleged shooting. And while some reports say that the assistant was the one who fired the firearm, again, there was no way for him to prove that in court, because what happens is, again, it's her word against yours. And with the evidence as related to the DNA and the hard evidence being inconclusive, everything is going to lead to the conviction of a heterosexual black man, because they see that heterosexual black man as an enemy. And again, your Tory Lanez just didn't get the memo on how it is for straight black men here in America, and as a result, he has now been convicted of this crime and may wind up with the possibility of doing over 20 years in prison. So he's going to go from going out here and being a rapper to winding up in the penitentiary, having to deal with Bubba and Tiny. And as he's in there with Bubba and Tiny, they're going to be trading him for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, cups of coffee, Kit Kat candy bars, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pies, 4-pack Chips Ahoy, 6-pack Oreo cookies, 8-pack lemon cookies. I mean, he's basically going to be singing for his supper as he's being spit roasted by Bubba and Tiny. And again, this wasn't something that he could have possibly avoided had he understood that he needed to go out here and be able to think critically as he moved out here in these Hollywood streets. Because when you're out here in this entertainment industry, you have to understand, even when you're partying, you're working, and when you're out here working, you have to treat these other female entertainers just like you would do a female coworker on the job. And when you're out here, if she's looking to start some mess, what happens is you send her on her way and you leave this so-called Megan Thee Stallion alone. Because what your Megan Thee Stallion is she loves to go out here and start some mess. And as she starts some mess, then when you go out here and try to finish the mess, you wind up in a hot mess yourself. And that's sadly what happened here to Tory Lanez, who made the mistake of being the Pookie, who went out here and got involved with a hood rap, and then as she started the drama, he wound up in a bigger drama as the white supremacist court system went out here looking to railroad your Tory Lanez as related to, because what they love to see is a black man being put in prison, because this is the entertainment industry, really the kind of story they like. And sadly, your Tory Lanez, because he was a Canadian black man who didn't know how it ran as related to the subtle politics of white supremacist America, has gone from being a successful rapper to having his career wrapped up because he got involved with a ratchet black female. And as he got involved with this ratchet, she wound up throwing a monkey wrench into his work, into his career. And sadly, this is what happens when you are one of these entertainers who doesn't have a man to teach you how the world works. You wind up becoming like Tory Lanez, a man in crisis. Now, if you want to learn how to deal with female workplace predators like a Megan Thee Stallion, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace, in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Stop Simping in the Workplace at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you want to learn why your Tory Lanez wound up falling into this situation, you can also pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you want to see me make more videos about celebrities in crisis, you can send a donation to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App to help me stay on the air. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS Legacy. Sorority secrets of the goddess next door are revealed in this all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS Legacy in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.